You are listening to Breathe and Bounce.
One of the things about mental health these days is the way it has been treated. It's always been you find a counselor and they have a DSM-5, which is the holy grail of mental health. And I know this from experience because I've been in therapy for almost the last 10 years, and it took me a very long time to find the right people. And I did meet someone, and they are far from here. They're in the south side of Chicago. And not only is she a mental health therapist, but she also works as a spiritual counselor. She's an artist, a sound therapist, a medium, does hypnosis. Her name is Sarah Maria Hernandez. She owns Omega Holistic Wellness Enoch, LLC. Sarah, welcome to the program. How's it going?
Doing well. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on. Tell me a little bit about so you do mental health therapy, and I think that's where you started dabbling in the mental health therapy before you got into everything else. Am I correct?
I used to work in the medical field before as an MA.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your experience like in the medical field?
In the medical field, so when I dive into the medical field, I realize a lot of people are suffering,
Mm-hmm.
and some doctors are, for example, I met some doctors who are atheists and also is very unhappy with the career they choose. They bring a lot of wealth, but they're very, very depressed because their parents want them to be a doctor. And
Mm-hmm.
then years later, you can tell they're just miserable and just prescribing medication, and their personal life is destroying themselves and come to a point that when I start working as a medical assistant, I starting projecting situation with the doctors, with the patients, and it was so overwhelming. I got myself sick, and I want to suppress my spiritual gift because as a child I always gifted, and but my grandparents taught me that people will tag you saying you're crazy and all that stuff, and or I'm retarded. Again, I went through domestic violence as a child, and being raised by a mother who's hard hearing, it's just silence in my household. But I still had spiritual guidance with the, extraterrestrials, archangels, God, whatever you want to call it. I always had that guidance. But when I work at the medical field, it's just a lot of information. You get a lot of downloads, and I went get answered through the Catholic Church, Christian. Um, I went to different religion, and I come to a point that God is within you, and your body is your temple,
Mm-hmm.
and you got that answer within yourself all along. The thing is, you had to meditate or pray. Either or is the same thing as you ask God direct question. You don't need to go out there and travel around the world to get the answer. You got the answer all along. The thing is, you need to pay attention to your dream,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. And what happened working in the medical field, that a lot of stuff was going on. And then you have some cell rep come over and bribe them. Oh, I'm going to bring you some free food. But you had to, promote our medication, prescribe them the medication.
I feel like most people that work in this industry are not paid
Hmm.
very much money. They go through an ungodly amount of schooling, and
Yeah.
it takes years to find your footing. And I think a lot of people that get in this field kind of just give up. And
And also you had to pay a ton, like over $10,000 of insurance because
right,
something happened with a patient, you're on it,
right, and
you
licensing
know.
too, and licensing. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's like all a
It is
game.
a game.
And
It's a cycle.
the thing is, one of the things we've been talking about during this show is the stigma against mental health. It's hard for people to open up. It's hard for people to say, I am suffering from anxiety. I am suffering from depression. I have borderline. I have bipolar. It's very hard for people to open up And when
Or
they
I hear
do,
voices. Or I hear
yeah, exactly.
voices. People don't want to
Schizophrenia,
talk about it.
all that, everything.
Hmm.
And it's very hard to talk about that because there's a lot of judgment and there's a lot of stigma. And I could tell you my own personal story. And back in 2015, I went to a facility. I worked with them for about a year, and by the time I got to the end of it, I was on 5 different types of medication. I completely blacked out for an entire summer. And and their answer to me was, "You're on your own, thanks." When I told them I was not feeling well and I was starting to feel violent and I was starting to feel agitated all the time, that was
Yes.
their answer. "You're on your own." It's like, because I told them I got to get off this meds. Well, you're on your own. And I just feel like for you, it sounds to me like you had to do it your own way because the way that
Yeah.
you were taught wasn't working. Now, does that sound correct?
Yeah. So what happened is that I opened my eyes. I was predicting situation at work. I predicting situation with doctors, with the patients, with coworkers, and it come to a point that I need to go back to the work. So sorry, go back to school and study psychology because I felt the guidance. I need to learn more psychology, the human development and everything, Freud theory and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it come to a point that I need to take care of myself. Even I was getting a lot of downloads. It was very like I ask a question, I get the downloads, or I see vision in the future. Again, the prediction is not concrete. Again, we live in different dimensions. It's like a salami, you cut a lot of pieces, it's different route.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just me getting a lot of downloads is very overwhelming. I come to a point I couldn't even sleep at night. I've become very suicidal. As a child, I always listened to voices, negative voices, positive voices. Is the thing is that I never was taught, hey, you can channel to the higher force. You don't need to listen to negative. You had to say no to them. I got taught later years because I connected with a medium. He's amazing. He passed away, but he was finding missing kids in Washington D.C.
Oh, wow.
And he was the one who helped me and guided me to expand my spiritual ability. And he predicted so many things about my dreams. He was like, "You're not from here. Obviously, you come from the Palladian system, and you were working, helping humanity to evolve more. My soul was spiritually evolved,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly." And from there, I took it seriously. And to be honest, Michael, I didn't want to do this. It come to a point I have to do it because my daughter was having spiritual paranormal at home. Like I had to do some exorcists in my own household
Wow.
because these ghosts were harming my daughter in a spiritual, sexual way. Again, some right now we don't see some ghosts. We have on Earth we have ghosts wandering around and see families happy and they're miserable and they want to destroy you. They want to destroy marriage, they want to destroy your child, whatever it is. It's very important to teach our kids to pray or meditate, either or, to vision the light and say no to those lower ghosts or demonic forces. It is a demonic forces. Sometimes we move into an old house, there's a lot of violence, or a person just passed away. Is just bring awareness about that too.
Right.
And our kids nowadays, they're very, very evolved. They're very spiritual gifted, and they're remembering their reincarnation too. I remember my reincarnation. I thought it was dream, and no, it's actually our memories.
I don't remember any of that. And for me, I have just kind of got brought into this whole world of opening up, kind of opening up the eyes, seeing things spiritually, seeing things from a medium level. I've had people on the show that are mediums that have talked to me a little bit about their experiences, but I really think when you start pulling open the covers, I guess we'll say, and
Mm-hmm.
you start really looking deeper into it, there are a lot of experiences out there where people have the experiences that you speak of, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them have happened with famous people, but
Yeah.
they usually get shut down right away because we're not supposed to know any of this kind of stuff.
Well, famous people, those famous people are mediums because they're getting downloads to the source to create art, like through art, music. We those informations is out in the universe. We
Mm-hmm.
just download our Akashi records, and they're not, they don't. Even artists will be honest. It's like I have to channel. I had to put a candle. I have to channel Marilyn Monroe to act like her, And I'm like, okay, that's mediumship. But people don't want to see it that way. We all channel. We all have the power of the channel. Even dreams, we get information through our dreams. We all
Yes.
gifted. The thing is, you had to pay attention. You need to meditate more. Drink water, because when you drink water, you get more images. More one drop of water is over 1,000 images, and that's another thing. People don't even drink water a lot,
Yeah,
and
I
they just, oh, I don't remember my dream. And like, do you drink water? Do you ask question before you sleep?
that's one of
Believe
the
me, you get
things.
the answers.
That's one of the things, I know you do sound healings. We'll get into that in a minute. But when people
Yeah.
do sound healings, when you do Reiki, when you do all that stuff, it's so important to drink so much water after that. Because if you don't
Yes.
start drinking water, first, you're going to get headaches. And then, secondly,
Mm-hmm.
I think the more hydrated you become and the more experiences that you do, the more you get out of them. Because I remember when I used to do sound healings, I would just fall asleep. And that was it. But then the more I did them, now like today, I did one earlier today, and I was seeing colors. I
Mm-hmm.
was seeing red. I was seeing
That's your
yellow. I
aura.
was seeing the
Your
chakras
aura.
open up. I
Mm-hmm.
was seeing the auras open up. I was seeing all that,
Yeah.
and seeing all that stuff and seeing some of the other things I've seen during sound healings makes me believe that this does exist. This isn't something where people are just being quacks coming on TV saying, "Oh, well, I saw ghosts." No, I think it's much deeper than that. And I think if you really want to delve into it, you can. I don't know if you're going to like what you find, but you
Yeah.
can. And so I
Again,
mean,
you had to have faith. You had to put that grain of faith.
oh,
If you don't
absolutely,
have that faith, if it's like, it's easy for us to believe the negativity.
right,
Just think about it.
right.
People, it's easy to live. Oh, let's go to a haunted house. They love that. But why you don't dive into this magical side of positivity? You'll be, your mind will be blown away.
Hmm.
Like one time I said, Archangel Michael, I need $200 to go to take a Reiki class. And my husband was like, no, I don't believe that. But that same day, I was doing a Facebook Live about my spiritual gift and doubting what the family don't believe in you. Um, I asked Archangel Michael, like, to give me the strength and believing in myself, because I know this is my path. Because I had a dream with Jesus telling me, hey, you have to remember you're from the Enoch tribe. You've been doing by millennia helping humanity to evolve. And I'm like, what? I was a male, I was a female, I was from all type of culture, India, Peru. Like I had a download. It was so overwhelming and so empowering. I woke up so alive and loved by Jesus and our divine brother and sister. And right now, this is like a reality show around the universe. They're watching us right now. They
Absolutely.
want to. They're watching humanity evolve, and it
Or
is.
devolve. Sorry.
It is a reality show, but at the same time, I would like, this is fucking sinister. You guys choose it. You reincarnated here for a reason. And not many souls are willing to reincarnate here because, again, you come to the karmic cycle, like, and to, evolve. And I
Hmm.
saw my ascension. I saw my ascension. One day I was doing a live. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I say that about the Reiki, I pray Archangel Michael, and that's when I did the live video. This guy from Spain donated $200, over $222, and I was like, oh my god! And guess what's his name? Michael.
Wow. You
And
know,
I got the Reiki class, and when I went to the Reiki class, I realized I had the power all along. I didn't need to take Reiki class. Like everybody was like, "Oh my god, you're so gifted." I'm like, sometimes it's natural.
so you obviously got out of the mental health field and you started working in business for yourself. You opened up your own company. You've been doing a lot of mental health work. You're obviously doing domestic
Right.
violence work as well. But when you started getting into all the spiritual stuff, bringing the sound, doing the Reiki,
Hmm.
when did you decide to start doing that? Is that just something you were called to do, or was it something you just took a genuine interest in?
After having that spiritual awakening in 2011 from Jesus, what I realized that I get the download that I'm meant to be to heal people's mind,
Hmm.
because again, humanity got fake downloads, fear based, or like, oh, you're gonna go to hell, and then from there I was like, you know what, um, and the medical field is not for me, but I'm gonna work in the mental health now. And when I went to my mental health now I'm a mental health recovery specialist, and I realize is that people have trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Could be your past life trauma. Can you be your current trauma from your childhood, mother, father issues? And that's why I want to bring awareness, the importance of a mother and a father being present under our kids' life.
Mm-hmm.
It is an energy exchange from a mom and a father for our kids. That's why you see a lot of mass killing at schools, because the mom and dad never been there for them. They just play video games. They never have interaction with them. And also in a community base, we in a community we live in nowadays, people don't want to talk with each other. They don't want to help each other. It
No.
takes a tribe on a community to raise a child. It's not only a father and mother. It takes a community.
Right.
And also even churches. If churches, they just there to criticize. Not all churches, but when I went to churches, it's just criticize and judgmental. And no, it's not for that. It's like how we can service you, how we can help you. And church means it is a community base. It's supposed to be an alderman office, how to expand our community, how we can. No, is they just focus about once a week to talk about God and criticize. I just like one time I went to
Fearmonger.
yeah, and for example, I'm an advocate for domestic violence and disability because I am disabled. I have a bipolarness and schizophrenic, and also my mom is hard hearing, my dad is hard hearing, so I know American Sign Language, and raised with kids with disability. I had an IEP since a child because of my speech delay, and I know who's autistic, I know who Down syndrome, I know everything. So when I went to this church here in the East Chicago, Indiana, what happened? I saw a kid was doing humming, sitting down at the temple. And I went with my husband to like have a group, marriage group counseling. But I saw the priest was criticizing, and I can read people's lips because my mom is hard hearing. So I see him saying to the other guy, pick him out. I don't want him here. He making noises. He could get the young man, he's autistic. He left running, and I felt so bad. I went to follow him, but he was running. I felt the energy, like what a hypocrisy. Like he coming here seeking for help. You can
Right.
tell something is going on.
Right.
And while you're judging this person, you can tell he's autistic. So finally we got to the group, and he was like, how you feel? So when I got my group, he asked me how I feel. And I'm like, I feel disappointed at this point because we come here to help each other. Is a reason he was here humming because he's seeking for help, and you just kick him out. You told another person to kick him out. Right there, I got him in the spot. He right there in the spot, he apologized. But how you know he's autistic? I'm like, you don't need a rocket science to tell is a person autistic.
Right. I mean, and I think, one of the things that my transportation business does is we work with kids that have developmental disabilities, and
training.
That's another thing. We're talking about the mental health industrial complex. I also feel that the services for kids with developmental disabilities are not the best. And
no.
I think everyone just needs to improve, and I think one of the biggest problems is
it should be taught in schools.
Yes,
it should be taught in school in early ages.
I think mindfulness, yoga, empathy, all those things need to be taught in school. Mental health, without a doubt. I think it all should be taught in school, and that was one of my missions with this program. I think the younger you get people involved, then it becomes more of a habit. It becomes more of a lifestyle, and
stop bullying.
Yeah,
stop bullying.
Exactly. I mean, I grew up, and I think you and I probably grew up around the same time. I grew up with put your big boy pants on, suck it up. It's going to be okay. You just have to get through it. And it's like, no, why should I have to get through it? That's not love when you send someone into the lion's den. And you think that sending them into the lion's den is going to make them a better person. That's not true. That's not true about everyone. There might be some people that thrive in that kind of environment, but not everybody. It's not one size fits all, and that's the big problem, unfortunately. And I think that's like where people like you come in, because I feel like you come from a holistic viewpoint. You have an independent mindset, and I think in the mental health community needs more people like you that are going to be more caring. They're not going to just go to the DSM-5 and say, okay, what kind of medication can I get? It's like I really feel like,
what's the problem with mental health?
Go ahead.
I gotta be honest with you. The problem with mental health is beside caring, is about the money thing, the coding thing. The time you get the paperwork for them, what kind of workshop you gonna give for this particular client, right? And then when you talk with this client and all that stuff, and then you have to run to the computer to edit it. And it's a big paragraph you need to put it in. It comes to a point this person forgets some details, and then they're stressing out. They have to do billing and all that stuff and putting information. And that's the problem with mental health. Like at this point, it's ridiculous.
It's more about the insurance and more about
exactly.
It's more about the system rather than the patient.
Exactly. That's what I see some coworkers that it come to a point is I see them, they care, but they drain and they lose their empathy because they're stressing about the coding, putting all the information in, and that's the problem. That's the problem. We had to make a different approach about editing information. Something short, go to the conclusion. To give a paragraph of 2 paragraph, 3 paragraph of what's going on. That's 2, 3 paragraph is in the beginning, but the conclusion, just give the conclusion. I don't see the need to give her all the information. Like, this kid is suffering domestic violence. This person is suffering this. Give the conclusion, and that's it. Like, that you can provide a better service to this child.
Exactly.
And again, and also get more connection with the community. Some parents to be honest, they just drop them off and they don't want to be part of it.
100%.
They don't know. It takes the parents to be part of it, because sometimes those domestic violence come from the parents.
Yep.
Themselves.
Exactly.
And when you find out that parents are like, I don't need no therapy. I'm not crazy. I'm not saying you're crazy. You have trauma because your parents taught you different ways.
Correct. That's kind of what happened. That's what happened with me.
That's what's going on. What's going on. That's what's going on. And,
if people want to find out more about you and what you do, how can they find you?
They can find me as Omega Holistic Wellness or Sarah Maria Hernandez on Facebook, or you can call me at 773-964-6393. I dealt with people with paranormal stuff at homes. Again, I teach about how you can do your own spiritual cleansing. I doubt negativity stuff that, I don't want to say exorcism, but come to a point it is exorcism, because sometimes parents create domestic violence in the household. We open portals. We definitely open portals through music, through watching negative movies. We actually open portals, and you have to be aware about that kind of stuff. And also our words, how we use our kids' words, like, I curse you, I wish you dead. Believe me, you attract demonic forces to your house saying those words. Yeah. Your words are so powerful, guys. I've been learning
that a lot the last year or so.
You open portals. Again, we have the tongue of God too. Like, we made of God image. We are so powerful. You have to be very careful when you do. Everybody do mistakes. Sometimes we go through anger management and all that stuff. But the thing is, you have to recognize it before you sleep. Pray. I forgive myself. I forgive my others that I harm. That's the key. You have to know the secret sauce. Forgive yourself, and forgive others. Before I sleep, I will apologize to my kids. So, I'm sorry, I've said that to you. You just,
never go to bed
teenagers
angry.
are teenagers.
Never go to bed. Never go to bed with the bad karma. Never go to bed angry. Just, you don't want that bad energy. You want to find a way. You want to find a way to dissolve it.
When you sleep angry, believe me, you go to a lowest dimension. you're gonna have a bad nightmare. Believe me, it is a real deal.
Yeah.
You had to, you know, if this person's so negative, like for example, like this person not gonna admit their fault, you just spiritually before you sleep, like I forgive them. I know they're ignorant, like they don't know. Maybe a trauma is triggering them. They don't want to accept their, to be a bigger person is to forgive, to be honest. People
Absolutely.
don't like to forgive. They just want to, it's an ego thing. It's
Yeah.
an ego thing. But I want to bring awareness about mental health end of the day because me as being a spiritual gifted, hearing negative voices, positive voices, it come to a point that I was very suicidal. I couldn't turn off my radio station, and I'm like meditating. You come to a point to see a specialist. I did went to see a psychiatrist, and they prescribed me medication. And for that time, I had the medical card from the government. And what it does is that they don't test you if you're allergic to those medication. I didn't know that. They gave me Zoloft. I was suicidal with the Zoloft. I was suicidal for the other medication. It come to a point that I had to take the fourth medication. Before I took the fourth medication, they had to do a blood test. He was like, now you qualify to take a blood test because the three medication didn't work out for you.
And that's
And I'm
pretty much
like,
my story
are you
too.
crazy? Imagine those people who are not aware and they committed suicide
Exactly.
because of that medication. And it says in the warnings, you may commit suicide. In your warnings.
I just to tell you a little bit about my 2015-2016 run, and they diagnosed me with bipolar disorder. So they started me on Lamictal, then they put me on Wellbutrin with the Lamictal, then they put me on Zoloft with the Lamictal and the Wellbutrin. Then they played with my doses left and right. Finally, they put me on Depakote, and then
You did a blood test?
No, they didn't give me no blood tests or anything. They put me on. They also put me on trazodone to help me sleep. So at this point, I'm on 5 different medications, and I started getting really violent. And
yeah, that's what it does too.
And then
because
and the thing is, I couldn't remember the violence. I couldn't remember what I said or I did to people, and it got worse and worse. I eventually got hospitalized. I eventually stepped over the line and went too far. So I put myself in the hospital, actually. And when I put myself in the hospital, they took me off drugs for the first day, and then they put me on Wellbutrin at 7 p.m. at night. Now, if you know anything about Wellbutrin, you know that it's an antidepressant. And if you put someone on it at 7 p.m. at night, they are going to be up flying like a kite all night long. So then I had to go to the desk and ask for something to help me go to sleep. My experience with most people in mental health is they don't care about the end result. They just want to get the person out of the door. And if they do something like, if they start talking crazy, then of course they call the police, they have them committed, blah, 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 all that stuff. I just feel like if you don't have a sense of true empathy and you really don't care, then you should not be doing this work. And I meet more and more people in the, in the modality world, in the spiritual world, whatever you want to call it. And I see more empathy and care out of people. And I really believe it's just, it's just wild to me that so many people are walking around mentally sick, and all we want to do is we want to politicize it. We want to kind of sweep it under the rug like he doesn't exist. Oh, just take some meds. You'll be okay. Oh, just go chill out.
Basically, you're suppressing it at the end of the day.
100%.
You're suppressing
100%.
what is the main cause. And it could be family karmic cycle. It could be your past life karmic. Again, science already proven that we have trauma in our DNA in our body from 15 years to 15 generation to 20 generation. And I was like, it's the same shit as karmic reincarnation, the same thing. Just in science proven that we do have our body coming down generation. And the secret sauce is meditate and ask for forgiveness. So you have to say, I forgive myself and I forgive my family generation.
And it's hard. I mean, life is hard. At the end of the day, life is hard. But it doesn't have to be. You don't have to make it harder. In other words, and that's the bottom line, and that's the reason why I'm grateful that I've met people like you who have helped guide me into a better path, and it's awesome. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, besides the fact you have been in this mental health field for a while, you did incorporate a lot of the a lot of healing, and not medical healing like most psychiatrists use. You use some natural. And one of the things, and this is how I actually met you, is this: you do sound healing. And I remember when I first met you, it was, not only did you do the sound healing, you also brought artwork into the fray as well. So
Yeah.
as soon as we got done with the sound healing, you instructed us to, kind of draw what we saw, what we felt. And it was awesome. And I was so happy that I did it, because it just, sound healings are cool and all, but when you add a little something extra to them, you just get, I think, a lot more out of it.
Yes. I did this because I got that guidance through a prayer that I've been doing, and I know my mission is a mental health. It come to a point that, I don't know if you heard about Edgar Casey. He's a prophet here in America, United States.
No.
And he said the future of medicine will be frequencies. And it's already proven by science that frequency it does heal our DNA.
Absolutely.
And I was like, you know what? Let me do the sound bath. And I did it. I started doing sound bath before COVID. And I noticed when I did some sound bath on people, I started doing guided meditation. And guided meditation is exactly like self-hypnosis, but people get scared with hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So I do the guided meditation, and then I see they have the same effect I have when I have that spiritual experiences. They have it. They're like crying when they have the experience. They visit with their family member, or they're in a beach. They transport to another dimension. I even did it in schools, churches. One of the teacher had experienced that she was flying the galaxy, and I was like, "Don't say it, let's draw it." And we draw it, and I even explained to them, because I was suicidal when I was 14, and when I saw my psychiatrist, she's like, "Draw, you need to draw," and I draw, and she read it. I can tell she's a psychic too. She read it about my drawings, and I said, you know what? I gotta implement that practice in my practice, because drawing is a healing method too.
Oh, I
And
agree.
after the meditation, they can draw, and it's the same as a dream analysis, and I will tell them what it means, the drawing. And some people don't even have the experience like astral projection or anything, but at least they see the color or the symbols. I will explain to them. Oh, purple means you're very intuitive. You have the third eye open. Or you see pink, that means pink. You're a teacher. You like kids. Oh my God, how you know? Through the colors of an aura. Because sometimes people are nervous in the beginning. They just see colors. It's their aura. You
And
have the ability to see your aura.
that's the cool thing about a sound bath. I've said this a couple times. When I first started doing sound baths, I would pass out. That would be it. Just, you'd fall asleep. Most people, that's what they do. But then when you start doing them more and more, then you'd start seeing the colors, like, what we said earlier. You start seeing, and I would see purple a lot. So I would always see purple. But I think when we start getting on our healing journey, we start learning about the chakras opening up, and then I started seeing orange and yellow, which obviously is the solar plexus and the sacral, and that's like a big burst of creativity. So
Yep.
if people stick with it, they will definitely benefit from it. Can you tell me what else you think is beneficial about sound baths besides the frequencies? Because frequencies, I think, is definitely a real thing.
It is beneficial for people who suffer trauma, even kids, adults with have autism, Down syndrome. It can give them a place of peace, and it does massage your brain in a way. Again, we're always on the go. We're in electronics and all that stuff, and we need to focus our mental health and our physical health. And also drinking water during the meditation, it give you a better, experience. And focus our breathing, because the breathing, what it does, whether the meditation, what it does with the breathing, it will impact our pineal gland. When you impact the pineal gland, the pineal gland is like a heartbeat. They did a science proven, like they did an image with the meditation. It did the heartbeat. So the blood flow goes in. And then the Bible says too, meditate day and night and your river will prosper. We have 70% water in our blood. So when we breathe, that's why now is a thing with the breath work. It's the same thing as guided meditation. It's just focusing on your breathing. The more you focus on your breathing in the guided meditation, it heals so much. I do guided meditation on your past life, your trauma, grief. It again is another level. Some people are afraid to be vulnerable in the therapy. At least the guided meditation, they can be themselves.
Right.
You know.
Are you offering any breath work right now, or are you just is that something you're interested in learning in, or is that not your cup of tea right now?
Right now, it's not my cup of tea. My cup of tea is hypnosis, exorcism, sound bath, how you call it, and therapy, therapeutic art, and spiritual counselor. To be honest, those are my cup of tea right now.
Yeah,
the breath work, I know people and I would recommend them. But right now, it's the guided meditation, hypnosis is my cup of tea because I know I can get more result for them when they need to focus on.
And you know how to get the best out of those bowls. That's for sure. I know that from experience.
Yes. Again, follow your instincts. And some people will not take it very easily, the criticism.
No.
Like Jesus told me, Sarah, don't waste your energy helping the ones who don't want to be healed.
That's pretty much that's the truth.
He said, like, I don't have the power to heal others. We have the power to heal ourselves. The thing is, I'm giving you nuggets to heal yourself. I give you nuggets of wisdom.
Right.
That's it. But you have the power to say, yes, I want to change my life.
I mean, yeah,
I want to change my life.
The thing
I'm going to give you an example that even sometimes you will have spiritual experiences, like paranormal experiences. For example, one time my grandmother, I was in Puerto Rico vacationing with my kids. My husband was staying here in Chicago working. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in Puerto Rico on vacation. And my best friend had the baby. And I want to take her out, have a nice restaurant and then just have one drink and talk about life. And I left my kids while I'm taking a shower, getting ready. My grandmother opened the door, pushed me butt naked. And I was like, what's wrong with you? I just find out you're going to go out without your kids. And I was like, yes, I'm a grown woman. I'm over in my 25s already. And for that time, I already had 3 kids. And my first child, by the way, is 15. So imagine all the trauma I went through. So at the end of the day is that my grandma was like, no, you're not doing that. And I look at her, Grandma, you cannot let your trauma reflect to me. It's your problem if your mom abandoned you because your dad was having an affair with her grandmother. It was a fiasco, that family. It's like a novella. But it come to a point that her mom abandoned her kids, her brothers and sisters, because her father was having an affair with her own grandmother and cousins, and she had it enough and she moved to New York. And when I said that to her, I triggered her. And because I see it, Grandma, doesn't mean something that like an accident gonna happen to me. I'm gonna die and I'm gonna abandon my kids. Right. Basically, you're gonna be stuck at home in fear the rest of your life. That's not living life.
Nope.
She was upset. She could look me in my eyes like, how dare you? And I'm like, Grandma, you need help. You need therapy. Don't call me. I'm not crazy. I'm not saying you're crazy. You need help.
That's the thing. Everyone needs help.
Your trauma.
Everybody needs help.
And we're entering a new age of healing. Basically, we're entering that's our awareness. Sound therapy is the new therapy. Sound frequency is repairing our energy, our field, and also interacting with others. Be vulnerable. People don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to see their flaws. Again, we all humans. We all have flaws. We're not perfect.
Right.
But end of the day, I left. That same night, I came back like around 12. I felt this presence in the car. looking at me in the mirror, and I was like, okay, someone is watching me. I can feel the presence. An entity is watching me. And when I get home, it's beautiful. Puerto Rico is, you can see the stars. Here in Chicago, you can't see the star very well. But Puerto Rico, you can see the beautiful stars. When I get home, my mom home, I felt this presence still. I took my medication because without that medication, I cannot sleep. I take my medication. Still, I felt this presence, and I woke up, and I see it was an entity. It was like it was human. It was human, very Star Trek dress, all silver, with tights and all that stuff, with long black hair. He was talking telepathy to me. He was like, Sarah, your grandmother gonna apologize to you tomorrow. And I'm like, hell no. This fucking bitch, I'm sorry, that's me. This fucking bitch never gonna apologize to me. She's very old fashioned, never say I love you or give you a hug. You never gonna, my grandma is very old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, she don't want to be
Old
touchy
school.
dovey. Don't say I love you, old school. And he smiled to me and telepathically, like, she will. Now, like, oh, okay,
And
that
what
means
happened?
he's gonna visit her tonight. So that morning, I went get some coffee, sweet, Puerto Rican, they like sweet bread with the coffee, and I offer her, and she's like very cocky, like, I don't want nothing from you. And I'm like, okay, then. I made the coffee, but still, I can tell her energy was off. Like, I see her eyes of fear towards me. She walked around and came behind my back. She hugged me. I get fed up by you. Sometimes you be a bitch to me in Spanish, but I want you to know I love you and I'm sorry. My energy from her heart chakra behind me, I can feel all the shit, all the bad stuff she told me, all as a childhood. Like, she sincerely mean it. And I cried, like, oh my God. She couldn't say I sorry in my face, but at least she did it hugging me behind my, like, I'm here for you, I'm sorry. And I turned around and I like, should I ask her if the alien visit her? And my higher self was like, don't
No.
even go there, because
No.
she think it's gonna be demon. She thinks it's
Exactly.
demonic.
It's a
And
beautiful
I'm
moment. You
like,
don't want to spoil the moment, you know?
yes, I didn't want to spoil the moment. And the end of the day is, we have celestial brothers, divine brothers and sisters visiting us. Is our soul just reincarnate on Earth, and they are sometimes our soul family visit us in the spiritual realm in our dream state, or can visit us in a holographic way. Because I do see entities in the middle of the night. I see the flower of life and all that stuff. Again, the secret sauce is meditate, ask question. And sometimes you don't even ask question, and it will bother you in the middle of the night, and they will talk to you. But the thing is, if you bring fear, you closing it. You closing it. If you have fear, you opening a portal of fear. That's how powerful we are. You had to be positive. You had to stay calm. You had to stay positive. Of course, listen to your intuition. If it's like a warning, don't drive tonight. Don't do this. Listen to it.
Right.
Listen to it, because it does happen. One time I just had a dream like about a black cat growling at me. And that same day I said to my husband, we're not buying a car today, because I had a dream about a black cat growling at me, warning me. And he was like, no, stop believing that, because you're just manifesting because you're believing it. And I'm like, no, that's very different than someone I'm getting a warning. Guess what? Make it a short story. End of the day, to prove my boss and my husband they were right. No, end of the day, I was right. Guess what? My husband, we went to buy the car, and that same day we brought it in front of her house. Remember, we just bought the house, no insurance.
Right.
This lady was smoking high. She fell asleep driving and hit my car, the new car, and my old car together. The Volvo car was like a sandwich.
Wow.
And then when the police came out, he was like, oh, don't worry, you have insurance. And I'm like, sir, I just bought this car yesterday. I should have listened to my dream, because I got a warning. Guess what happened that same moment? A white cat came out in the hood and start cuddling me and my legs, letting me know, you're still alive, you're okay. Let it go. It's a material.
Yeah.
Your kids are okay, you're okay.
Wow.
I swear to God, the police got freaked out because I was open to him about the dream, and he see a white cat cuddling me. He was just like, "You're a witch." I'm like, "No, we all have a gift. We all have a gift. The thing is, we had to listen to our intuition." And my husband, I felt now he listened to me.
Yeah,
He's listened to me. We don't want to go through it anymore.
exactly. All
Yeah,
right. Well, this has been really great. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Once again,
yeah.
that is Sarah Maria Hernandez with Omega Holistic Wellness Enoch. You can find that on Facebook. You can find her on Facebook. What was that phone number one more time?
My phone number is 773-964-6393. I do video visit here in Indiana or Illinois. If you live outside of here, we can do it on Zoom video, and we can still work on it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time, Sarah. We really appreciate you coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.